right, so real quick, I'll just hit today was our version of a fast Friday of what an in-season Friday schedule would look like. Wanted our guys to get a taste of that before we go on this road game, because we'll see it again week 2 as we go on the road, so want them to get a feel for what a Friday feels like, the time that they're going to have that afternoon, and then tomorrow we'll walk through stuff. So guys responded well. It was a hot practice. It was good. It was quick. Guys did a nice job, and we'll be ready to get on the airplane and go to Washington.
Any updates on the side?
Not yet. We're still gathering information, so I don't want to be too quick to speak on something that I don't have all the information on yet.
So even like an MRI, still has to come back in?
Yeah, we're just waiting on more information.
How much do you anticipate the ones playing, like a mix of the group of receivers, those guys?
Yeah, maybe. In my head, maybe a little bit more in the last game. We'll see. Just kind of wait and see. Kind of feel out the first quarter. Won't be beyond that. That would be the most they play as a quarter for the starters.
Deontay Smith was not out there today. Is there an injury there?
No, he just had a dehydration issue yesterday. Everything's going to be fine. He didn't practice today. There's a chance he doesn't play whenever we play 2 days from now. That would be more of a precautionary thing, but he's going to be fine. It was just a dehydration issue.
Was that going to happen once he got back into the locker room?
Last night.
Last night.
Yeah.
Are there any specific position groups you're looking to really see things from in the second preseason game? I know the first one is just kind of how the whole team responds
Yeah.
to the game in particular.
Yeah, I really do feel like every position group, because whether we feel like we got a good group there's still guys you want to see how they respond in these environments. We've got a lot of first and second year players that haven't taken a lot of reps in these games, so that's important. But again, just watching all these big guys compete, offensive line, defensive line. I think that's the one of the primary focuses. But again, I'd be remiss if I left out a position, because there's every position group where we've got our eye on.
Are you planning for Ogunjobi and Allen and Apple to play on Friday?
I'm not I am for Larry Ogunjobi. Larry will play. The guys right now that will not play would be on defense: Eli Apple, Ricardo Allen, Donnie Lewis, as they continue to come back from those hamstrings. Optimistic. They're starting to get more work in, so optimistic for next week. Khalid Kareem and Joseph Asai would be the 2 D linemen that would be out. And then on offense, Travion Williams continues to go with the hamstring. So we'll leave him here, let him rehab, so that we can maybe get him going next week. And then Deontay Smith would be the other one that we're just kind of wait and see mode.
So you'll get Trey Hopkins in?
I'm going to hold Trey Hopkins out, just like Burrow, just because both those guys coming off those surgeries. We're going to give them at least another week.
Have you seen enough of Burrow this week to maybe open that he hasn't played against Miami?
That doesn't really affect his playing time in the preseason. Again, with guys like him, we're just week 1. We want to get to that track. But I thought that he's had a really good week this week, really good week last week too. So certainly, I feel like offensively, starting with the quarterback position, trending in the right direction with where we want to go. It's part of training camp. Those first couple of weeks, they didn't go as unplanned. You put a lot of things in, and you're working through a lot of different stuff. And really feel like this last week and a half, last 2 weeks, these guys have taken the next step, and we're starting to find a rhythm there.
He'll make the trip then, correct?
Yeah, he'll make the trip. Yeah, he and Trey both.
How important is it for Hopkins to get some line reps?
I don't know that it's that important. He's a veteran lineman. He's taken a lot of plays. He gets good work going against our interior defensive line in practice. You see him; he takes all those reps. So again, we'll still talk through if he's going to play in game 3 or not. I haven't made the decision on Trey, but he's not one of those guys that you're as concerned about. If he's a younger player coming off an ACL, you probably would want to get him back in there and see how they respond, but not Trey.
Obviously, you knew what you were getting in Cheeto based on what you saw on the tape, but has he surprised you at all with kind of the production that he's had in camp?
You don't know a guy until you get him in the building. So just his personality and how disciplined he is, how focused he is something I wasn't ready for. I didn't know a lot of people that knew him. We liked the tape. We liked what we've been told. But when you get him in person, he is as impressive as any person I've ever been around. Not only as a person, but his approach to the game. And so you just feel like, man, he's had a tremendous, he's not a surprise, because we anticipated him being a starting corner that plays at a really high level. But just everything he's brought to the team intangibly is a huge bonus. And I'm really excited to have him on the team, and he's done a great job in training camp.
Troy Walters was at Colorado when Cheeto was in college.
Yeah.
Did he help at all in the free?
Yeah, spoke positively of him. Some guys, when you're on the other side of the ball in college and you're only out of college for 1 or 2 years, you're careful to speak on people because you don't always know. Trust me. But Troy, as I was answering that question, Troy was one of the guys, that had been with him and had good things to say about him.
Kez obviously got some extended work the other night. And he had
I missed who you said.
Kez.
Jocko, yeah.
Obviously, he had a good camp last year receiving the preseason. Did that open your eyes even a little more to what he was able to do in real game competition?
That was what we expected. I think we all saw the same thing last year. You guys saw him as much as I did in the scrimmage that we had, in the day that he had. And so I can't say that I was surprised with what he did. Again, he's a detailed guy. It's important to him. You're happy when a guy gets to go in finally after 2 years. I think his last game was an XFL game, however many springs ago. So you're happy for guys like that go and get success, and he'll get plenty more opportunities, especially with Travion being out and us limiting Joe and Samaje. He and Chris are going to get all the work.
Can he play special teams, Jack West?
Yes, he can. Yeah.
You seen Ja'Marr take the next step, and what is that next step for?
Yeah, I think it's starting to slow down. The schematic part of it. We got everything in. He understands what we're asking of him. You start to see improvement from him every single day. This makes more sense, and then the next day that makes more sense. And so again, he's. I think you've seen him making more plays here these last couple of days, and that's what we expected. We still have three weeks from the first game, or 3 weeks from the start of training camp. We're right on pace with where we thought we'd be with him.
Coach, the last time the last time Burrow was here, he expressed some, that he wasn't really quite confident. Seems to be like a different guy ever since Can you talk about his progression, like in the last week?
Yeah, I'll let him speak for himself on how he feels. But just as a coach, I see the guy that's in full command and has been playing at a really high level, particularly these last 2 weeks. And I'm excited about what I see. It's not unexpected. But again, he looks to be feeling well. But again, I'll let him speak on how he feels and all that stuff.
How do you think he looks in the pocket?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You guys have seen him move around and scramble and do some good plays. And he's got good speed. And I'm encouraged with where he's at right now.
So, I'm sorry, Coach.
I'm encouraged with where he's at. I think he looks good moving around. Yeah, he's done a nice job.
How much is it also kind of a testament to your guys' relationships that you guys have formed as coaches with him to be able to talk through it all in that first week and come to the point that you're at now? You kind of look back on that as kind of a big deal for all of you guys as the way you work together.
Yeah, and that's not just Joe. I think that's important for all of our players. As I get to know some of these new guys, I want them to come tell me how they're feeling. Hey, Coach, this is kind of new to me, being in this new organization. You guys do it this way, and I'm not quite used to that yet. And I want to encourage that. I think over this week, guys have started to understand that, and they're getting more comfortable. I want to know how they're feeling. I want to know how they're reacting. I am the head coach. We're going to make the ultimate decisions there. But those have been really proactive conversations with guys coming off of injuries, guys that are new to the club. And that's the progress we want to make as an organization. We want that culture established to where we care about you. This is just old school. We're going to tell you what to do. You're going to do it. We want to understand you better as a person, how you react to certain things. And that's what really has been fun, particularly these last couple of weeks, getting to know a lot of the new guys and having those conversations with guys coming off an injury.
Do you get a sense that some guys do come into the NFL hesitant about that, and maybe from their past history or
Sure.
whatever?
Sure, and that could be for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
That could be just their personality. That could be where they came from. That could just be one bad experience or good experience they've had in the past. So I can't speak for those guys, but yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that factors into that.
What kind of camp has DJ Rader had for you?
DJ? Good. I thought DJ has done a great job. DJ is one of those guys I love talking to just about life and ball. And he's really mature. He's a pro. He's a leader. He sets the standard for us with the way he approaches things. And so I think that he's well on his way to having a great training camp.
Ja'Marr has had some drops. Is there any concern there?
No, I'm not concerned about that. We want him to catch the football. There's no question about that. But again, I just want to see progress every day in all areas. And I have seen him make progress as a receiver for what we're looking for. And again, it's we don't want to drop the football, but he's starting to make more plays for us, and we're heading in the right direction.
You described it as like a reaction time thing, that just having that year off. How do you get that back?
Yeah, reps, experience, just being out there every single day. And again, there are guys who haven't played football in a year, and that's going to happen across the league this year with a lot of young players. And so it's just, again, that's where the communication is important. Talking to Ja'Marr one-on-one and just, hey, here's our expectation. Here's where you were yesterday. Here's the expectation for tomorrow. Let's make the next step. And he has done a great job responding to that. And it's not perfect. Our standard is a 10. We're not there yet. But again, I'm encouraged with all the conversations and the progress that he makes from day to day.
You were talking about communication. You were talking about communication, and you seem to have a moment like that after practice yesterday where, you told them that the first part of practice wasn't that good, and then you had the leaders come in and kind of echo you. So is that kind of what you're talking about, having a feel for these guys?
Yeah, I didn't stay for that meeting, so I don't know what was said after I left. I let them have their moments, but
You started.
yeah, I mean, yes, there was a lot of good, and there was some bad. And again, our standard's got to be higher when we play a game in 3 days, and whether we play in 3 weeks or 3 days, we need to elevate our practice habits, and that's just one of the things we cover on a daily basis.
Plan on rotating kickers again?
What's that?
Plan on rotating kickers again?
Yeah, that's fine.
At the pre-camp luncheon, Darren used the phrase "as open as the Kansas prairie" to describe the punt return competition.
Yeah.
Have you seen any movement there?
I think these games are continuing to help us, and we'll see how the opportunities shake out. There are several guys. There are several guys in the mix. We want them to have opportunities in the game. Certain guys react differently in the games. Obviously, Darren's gotten a lot of work. I've seen a lot of improvement from all those guys as training camp has gone. But the games are what matter most ultimately. And so we'll do our best to get a different look in these next 2 games at all those guys that are competing for the job. And again,
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask about Puka. Is he going to play?
Yeah. Yep, he's all set to play.
That's a couple more Joe's week.
A Friday question here for you. We're getting into Friday field games.
Great.
You've been around the game for a while. How much have you kind of seen an emphasis on from like staff and personnel to get guys in the right headspace throughout the year? How much of that emphasis throughout the season?
You're talking about just mental health in general, or?
Yeah, make sure guys are just kind of.
Yeah, I think the NFL's made a lot of progress in that area with making sure that we are educating these players on where the help is available. Dr. Ganshert is one of our guys who's available. Eric Ball, in that capacity, does a great job interacting with these guys and giving them an outlet to speak. So again, that's part of building a relationship with the players, so they don't feel like they're going through something and they don't have anywhere to turn to help. And you want that to be from the coaches, but I also understand we're coaches, and sometimes they don't want to approach us in that matter. Sometimes it's got to be outside sources. And here at the Bengals, I think that we have great outlets for our players that are utilized, and I can't speak for our players. There might be guys going through that I don't know, but we do make plenty of resources available, and I think our organizations handle that really well.
How much of an impact does that make on the performance?
I'm sorry.
How much of an impact does that make on the performance of the guy and handling the good plays?
I think that's human nature for all of us. My performance is not at its best if I'm not in a great headspace, and so, but that's part of being a professional. Sometimes you got to come to work and you face adversity in the building. Everyone faces adversity outside the building, but you got a job to do, and you got to find ways to do it. And sometimes that's rookies. It's finding out how to balance that, and this is your job now. And so again, that education process takes place every single day, believe it or not. And that's all I have to say on that.
Obviously, Deontay's battling for a starting job right now.
Yeah.
He can't play Friday. How much does that affect his chances? It's a tough competition.
Well, you're not going to rule somebody out just because of something that limits them for a couple of days. So again, he's been making good progress. By no means has he earned a starting job, but he's certainly in the mix of the competition. We want to see him to continue to be on the mix because those young guys that show that potential, they only get better with reps. So we'll continue to work him into the mix. And disappointing, you'd love to see him play in the game. It's not his fault, and we'll just react. And we got plenty of practices next week and one more game to play.
If Dante can play, is he going to stick with left? He can play.
We'll see if he plays or not, and then we'll go from there.
You seem to be. It looks like. Are you going back to the veterans a little bit? Stars.
We're going to mix all those guys in. It's I'm not going to make any statements on who's going to get more reps. It's all those guys are going to get a chance on their playing time. So
Okay.
I think that's it. Yep.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.